Good evening. Thank you for joining us to hear information tonight about the completed design and the construction plans for Site 89EW4, a new elementary school opening in August of 2022 in the Horizon West Town Center area. A few housekeeping notes about how this meeting will work. Attendees are automatically muted with cameras off. Please use the Q&A tool to ask questions. You can ask the actual question at any time, but we may not get to address your question for a while. We'll be doing all of the questions at the end of the meeting. So if you don't see a response when you put a question in, that's just because we're saving the questions until the end. If you're having technical difficulties, you can use the chat, but we're really going to be looking in the Q&A for any questions to the panel. I've also put in the chat information on where you can find the zoning for the school because that process has begun, and also how you can reach WebEx technical support. Dave, if you could go ahead a slide, please. So the video icons you see either on the top or the side of your screen are panelists who are available to answer questions today. I will be introducing them shortly. If you have any technical issues, you can reach WebEx support at 1-866-229-3239. I've also put that number in the chat. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the OCPS Facilities Communications YouTube page, as well as sent out as a link. The presentation slides will also be posted at facilities.ocps.net and posted on board member Pam Gould's page at ocps.net under School Board. So today we're going to hear about the completed design of this school, if you're just joining us now, and we're going to hear about the construction plans. Please again note that you can ask questions anytime, but they will be answered at the end of the meeting. So before we get started, let's turn to your District 4 board member, Pam Gould, for welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I am thrilled to be here as we come in on closing out how we're going to build it and getting into building this brand new school that is very much needed to relieve our local schools. So with that, let's not delay and get right into the presentation.
Great, thank you, Pam. Orange County Public Schools, our county partners, and the project's design and construction teams for this project have sent representatives to answer questions today. So you just met board member Pam Gould. We also might see Executive Area Director Margaret Talbert Irving. Some of the principals in the area are coming on, and I see Lee Montgomery has joined us, and I think Amy Klaber from Water Spring may also join us. The architect for this project is Schenkel Schultz, and representing Schenkel Schultz tonight are Dave Torbert and Lynn LaFave. The construction manager for this project is Wellbro, and Jeff Carter is here with Wellbro. You'll be hearing from him in a little bit. The civil engineer is Jay Klima from Klima Weeks, and the traffic engineer is Rick Baldacchi from AvCon. From the OCPS facility side of the house, I'm Lauren Roth. I'm the communication senior manager. We have Stephen Thorpe from planning. I saw that Jessma Lambert, who's our director of construction planning, did join us. Commander Jamie Alberti is the police officer who's the commander over this area, and he may join us tonight. I see we have Adam Zubritsky from Transportation and Vinia Burns from the Office of the Fire Marshal. And from the county, I did see Diana Almodovar, Deputy Director of Public Works, joined us. If I missed anybody, I will try to catch you at the end before we do Q&A. So if you could move to the next slide, Dave, please. Thank you. So this meeting is not about zoning, but we do often get questions about zoning. So we wanted to show you how the process works. And I have put in the chat a link that you can use to give your feedback. So this school already has a proposed zoning. The board has already looked at it and discussed it. It's up on our website. And at this point, feedback is being sought from the community. So if you go to the link that I've sent you, you can give your feedback. We'll not be discussing that here. It is a separate process. So with that out of the way, I'll hand things over to Dave Torbert from Schenkel Schultz, and he will go over some basics about the project.
Well, thank you, Lauren. Glad to be here tonight. Look, this first slide and actually this presentation, for any of those who have been to the previous community meetings, you're going to see a lot of very similar information. This first slide is sort of a very high level overview of the overall area. And you can see the blue dots that are highlighted on the screen that represent the locations of existing elementary schools that are in the area kind of surrounding this new elementary school, as well as the red dots that highlight the couple of middle schools that are right close, including the red dot that is right next to the new Site 89 site that is actually, jointly or right adjacent to the new site. As we go in a little bit closer, you can get a little bit closer view. You can see State Road 429 here, Independence Elementary School, Keens Crossing. And then here is where the new elementary school site is going to be. And you can see it is very close to the Lake County, Orange County border that is right here with this dash line that you can see on the screen. As we zoom in a little closer to the site, you can see it is just off of Avalon Road that is to the east of the site. Lake Ingram Road is to the south. And then you see two blue lines that are currently labeled Street A and Street B. Those are two streets being constructed by the developer. They have not been named yet. So currently they are Street A and Street B. You can see highlighted with the solid red line, the new elementary school site. And as I mentioned before, the new middle school site, which is highlighted with the dashed red line. So if we go in a little closer and look specifically at the site plan, you can see the elementary school is located on this side of the property, the middle school located here. The front door of the elementary school is highlighted with that yellow dot that you see highlighted there. You've got the parking and parent drop that are along the front, and you can see the red dashed arrows that indicate how the parent stacking will work through the parking lot, including the parking lot of the middle school, to create a significant amount of stacking capability to keep the cars off of the road. In fact, as you can see on this part of the slide, up to 255 cars stacked in that parent drop-off. The parking for the elementary school, this portion of the parking consists of 146 spaces. And then the two campuses will share a bus loop that's located right here. It's actually being built as a portion of the middle school, but it will be shared by the elementary school. And that bus loop has the capacity to stack up to 15 buses in that bus stacking area. Here, located right here in sort of the pinkish color, the rose color, is the new two-story elementary school. We're going to look at the floor plans a little bit later. You've got the full complement of playfield area, courts, youth and tot lot, as well as the service area and an area planned for future portables should they be necessary in the future. In terms of safety and security, the site is fenced. You can see highlighted here with the blue red or dash line that the way that we typically do these is we like to try and leave the front of the school building kind of open so that it's open and inviting to the community, but at the same time secure the back portion of the campus so that the students, while they're there in school, whether they're outside or inside, are in a very safe and secure environment overall. You can also see highlighted on here that we've highlighted where the pedestrian crosswalks are intended to be located as a part of that development road that is being constructed. In terms of the overall plan, unfortunately for safety and security reasons, we can't show you a really detailed plan, but this is an overall conceptual layout of the plan. You can see that front door is located right here that was highlighted on the site plan. There is a single secure access point into the administrative area that provides that singular controlled access point for any visitors that coming through the day. All the other entrances to the building are secured so that the staff and administration can really keep control on who's coming and going from the school. On the other side of the lobby from the admin is the media center. As we go back into the school, you get into the dining multi-purpose and stage space, and then the kitchen on the back. And then those main core elements in the center are flanked on either side by the classrooms. And you can see that the special spaces such as art, music, skills labs, and resource spaces are also scattered throughout the plan. Also on the first floor, you'll note on the left-hand side, there's a large covered play area There's an outdoor covered play area so that there's a good place for the children to have PE even during inclement weather. The second floor is almost exclusively comprised of classrooms that you see here. There is a teacher planning space and a couple of resource spaces on the second floor as well. In terms of what the new school will look like, this is a rendering of what the school will look like along the front. You can see the parent drop-off canopy and the main entry element there. If we go to the next slide, you can get a little better overall view to kind of get a sense of the scale and context of the overall site with the parking and, again, the parent drop-off and the main front door entry element that you see here in the rendering. Now, the next series of slides is a series of photos of previous prototype elementary schools. Now, this design is based on a prototype that's been designed many times within the district. And these photos, while are very, will give you a very good idea of what the new school will look like in terms of the interior spaces. Everything except for the colors. The colors have not been selected for this new school, so the colors for the new school will likely be different than the colors that you see here in these photographs. On this slide, you can see that secure admin reception. This is that single secure door that is controlled by a buzzer, the receptionist, so the receptionist can control who's allowed to come in. And then once they check in, there's another buzzer on a door out into the rest of the school that takes you into the lobby. It buzzer on that door right there that is also controlled by the receptionist. And you can see again right across the lobby from the admin is the media center. The next series of photos give you an idea of what a typical classroom, art room, music room, and media center will look like. And again, just to give you an idea of what is included in these spaces within the new school. On the exterior, again, you've got the covered play area, that large outdoor covered play area that I mentioned on the floor plan, as well as a shaded tot lot, play lots, and outdoor courts that are all a part of the overall program for the new school. OCPS is very committed to creating sustainable and energy efficient buildings. This design will follow the Green Globe's sustainability criteria. You can see listed also on the screen several of the energy efficient and sustainable strategies that are being incorporated into the overall design. The punchline on this is that, you know, OCPS is very interested in this, in creating energy efficient buildings so that they are good stewards of your taxpayer dollars going forward. As I mentioned before, this school has been designed, it is a prototype reuse, and so it's a design that's been used many times, as you can see by the list of schools here on the screen. The ones that are highlighted in red are schools, if you remember from that initial site aerial that showed some of the schools in the immediate vicinity that are based on the same prototype design. And so while this is based on that prototype design, this most current one is going to have all of the upgrades and refinements. OCPS is consistently and constantly upgrading and refining their prototype designs each and every time they're used. So this latest school will have the latest in technology, security, building systems, instructional aids, and everything, and will represent a very modern and very, very current school design that is being placed here at Site 89. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to our construction partner, Jeff at Wellbro, who's going to talk to you about some of the construction aspects of what's going to be happening.
Thank you, David. What you see in front of you is kind of our design and construction schedule as we are coming to a close on the design portion. We'll start moving in further with the construction towards the end of June. Currently on Avalon, you might have seen a little uptick in traffic where the schools are. That's because the middle school that's adjacent to this elementary is right next door. It's already started. It's ongoing. So this one will kick off, and with that luxury, it is a 33.5 acre site, so very large site, but it is the mass clearing portion is already done. So we get to move right in on mobilizing and get the building pad developed, start working on foundations right away. And then that way we'll be able to move right onto the slab of grade, pouring all your floors, and then start forming and pouring the panels, the tilt panels, which will essentially be your bearing walls in the school there. We'll get those erected. You'll see a lot of crane activity come October, November, a lot of structural steel. And then we'll get the building dried in, get your roof in, start working on interior finishes, get our mechanical, electrical, plumbing, rough ends going, metal framed building inside there, and keep on moving forward to get ready for the final substantial completion, as well as getting all our inspections there towards May, June of 2022. That'll give the teachers and staff plenty of time to get in there. We'll be able to get moving in there, and all the kids will be able to come on in come August ready to learn. Next slide, David. So what you see right here is our construction site logistics plan we have out there. We do have a single point entrance from Avalon. You may have not seen the Wellboro sign out there, kind of giving you an indication where the construction access is. That's our main access to our central location onto the site. Again, it's a large site, so we want to be there to be able to visually see the progress on site 132 as well as the site 89 location, which is the elementary school. We do have plenty of laydown areas where we'll provide for our materials, connexes, subcontract areas, staff parking, that while we are building this school separate from the 132 program. So here we have a couple of aerials. These are early on in February, so you'll see from a bird's eye view here looking north on the left side there, where there's the conserve just to the north. It kind of gives you a good indication how large this site really is. So there is plenty of separation between the two schools there. You'll see over there in the red area there, that's where the elementary school building will kind of lay in there with the ball field, so kind of expand past there as well. But plenty of area. It's going to be a nice location for both schools right off the street A currently, as we call it. It's going to be a nice look for the new neighborhood around there. So in this next slide here, you'll see these are more recent here with the progress in 132. Again, giving you kind of a clear indication where the middle school footprint is. As you can see, all the gray square boxes, that's your foundations in place. You'll see all those around there. That's, again, the footprint of the middle school. And then the red area highlighted there is where the Site 89 elementary school is. So plenty of separation between. You've got the bus loop there, and be a nice grand illusion once you come in off of Street A. So what can you expect here for the next couple months from us? We'll probably have a pretty heavy traffic patterns on Avalon Road with deliveries and whatnot. Majority of these deliveries will be in the morning time as well as early morning concrete pours. So hopefully we can get in and out of there prior to any major workflow traffic. Kind of be blind in that side of you, so we kind of stay out of the way as clearly as we can. Early morning concrete pours. We do have the Dreamfinders subdivision to the north in Lake Ingram. Shouldn't be affected by any noise, the distance we are from each other. But come September, October, November, I would definitely keep on the lookout. We'll start flying with the cranes. We'll fly in some panels, steel erection. It's pretty neat to see. You'll see a big puzzle come together on both buildings, kind of one after another. So look forward to that. With that, towards the end of the year, we'll probably see some lane closures, working with the developer out there to get Street A in place. So you'll have some turn-ins there and some possible lane closures up there in Avalon towards Christmas time. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, David. Or Lauren, sorry.
Quite all right. All right. Thank you guys so much. So now we can take questions. Dave, if you could advance the slide one more, please. All right, so this is how you can ask questions. If you could find your Q&A button. If you don't already have a little caret with Q&A, you can look under, there's a 3-dot button that says more options, and the Q&A will be under there. I do see that we have one question so far, but before I take that one, I'd like to introduce a few more people who've come in. I see we now do have representation from all three of the closest elementary schools. We have Lee Montgomery from Whispering Oak, Sherry Donaldson from Keens Crossing, and both Amy Klaber and Assistant Principal Matt Hendricks from Water Spring. So the project manager, who's the one who connects OCPS with the architect and the construction manager during the design and construction process, that's Maher Chatilla, and he is with us on this call. OCPS Police Commander Damiel Birdie is here. And in addition to Diana Almodovar from the county, we also now have Christina Pichardo Cruz, who does school safety and traffic engineering for them. So I'm seeing one question right now, which is what will happen if there are delays in construction and the school is not ready for the August 2022 start? Will kids have to switch mid-year from their existing schools? And
Lauren, I'll take that one.
okay,
This will be my, I think, 11th school opening, or 12th or 16th. I've lost track. We have not missed an opening yet. I know there's probably concerns because of some of the pipeline issues, and unless this has changed, about a week ago, I had talked to our chief of facilities to make sure we had the material needs that we needed in order to go forward with this. So I'd like that confirmed by our construction company and the architects, but at this point, we don't anticipate any delays.
Jeff, can you comment on that, or are you getting the supplies you need?
Yeah, I can comment on that. On far as the middle school, I'm not sure which school we're going with. Both of them will be ready in August. We haven't, Pam, this is my third school with you, and again, we haven't missed one yet, so looking forward to
And
that.
this isn't the one you're gonna miss.
Certainly not, certainly not. We have worked in to lock in many materials and suppliers for the elementary early on. As you know, this has already started, so those are locked in. Site 89, as we're going through it now, we're aggressively working with all of our vendors and subcontractors to lock in those. Maher and I are both working together to ensure we stay on the original schedule we had, and there's nothing indicating right now that we won't.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for that double reassurance.
Yeah, and the construction schedule does build in time for typical delays because it's, it's not unusual for something to go longer than something else. But as you can see that this is a site that's already been cleared and work has actually already begun on it. So it's in a really good position. I have not seen any more questions come in. So please feel free to ask. This is a great opportunity. There are a lot of experts on the line. And Pam, is there anything that you wanted to add?
No, I do want to remind people that the public hearing for this school is next Tuesday. So that would be your time to, call in with any comments on the zoning component of this. That's not this meeting, but I just want to remind people. And I see you're bringing up the map.
Yeah, there's been a request for the map. Ms. Alisea, if this answers your question. Is it right before the, okay, hang on a second. Ms. Alisea, I just unmuted you. Is it right? I'm confused by your question. Is it right before the light on the right?
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. So I usually come from Davenport and turn right on Avalon and go down. And then when you hit the light, you can make a left to go towards like Publix and Walmart. Is it that patch of like dirt on the right before you go across the light?
Jeff, can you answer that?
Yes, the easiest way to think about it, what I think you're talking about, ma'am, is the Walmart and Publix that are off of New Independence Parkway.
Yes.
So if you go towards Avalon, where you're talking, you take a right, you would take a left, and you're right there from the corner of that intersection, you can see the big plot of land.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And Kristen, I'm going to unmute you. You said that you have a zoning question. I don't know if we can, okay, is there any regard for the mile radius around your existing school? No, it's not based on the mile radius. We have some schools where there are 3, 4, 5 schools within 2 miles of each other. And so the idea is to get the zone around each school. Pam, do you want to talk at all about zoning, or you want me to give a little overview? Okay, go ahead.
Well, from this perspective, you know, Horizon West being a planned community is a little unique. It's not so much based on miles as it is densities and neighborhoods. So, and then the neighborhoods that are contiguous and adjoining to Horizon West as well have to be taken into consideration. So it's really about roadways, communities, as when it comes to that. And again, Tuesday, all of those zoning maps will be gone over again, and there'll be a discussion about, you know, what those maps look like. And typically we end up talking about the reasons why there are lines drawn the way that they're drawn. But it's not just as simple as saying, because I'm here in the crow flies, you know, 2 miles that way, that patch of land will be included. Between lakes, roads, developments, and densities, it really does vary.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we have some school zones where they're, you know, 20 miles and others where they're, you know, really tiny. And Ms. Plank, I did unmute you just to see if that answers your question. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Sorry, Peppa Pig's on in the background, so.
No worries.
No, that's basically my question. I guess I was slightly caught off guard because we are currently zoned for Whispering Oak, and we live less than 2 miles from the school, so we don't even technically qualify for busing. And then to hear that we're kind of on the border of this, you know, having to go to this relief school, and it would basically be triple the distance. It just seems, I don't know, a little, I wouldn't have expected that, and it doesn't seem to make complete sense. I understand the density, and so that's what where my question was going. Just that we're literally so close to Whispering Oak that we don't qualify for busing, but then to get rezoned to a, you know, a school triple the distance away.
I would definitely encourage you to go to that link that I put in the chat and send in your feedback. Okay.
I already did.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure, because the comments in this forum, you know, aren't part of that process. So I just wanted to make sure you were heard.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to complain. I'm just more trying to understand how it works.
Okay. And Pam, were you looking to add anything to that? Or are you good?
No, that's great. Please try to tune in on Tuesday, because I think we'll be discussing this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and she also asked if we're zoned to this elementary, will we also be zoned to the middle school? I think they're doing the zoning for 132 also at the same time. So you could go to that same link and look at the map for 132. So because they're both being considered at the same time. Typically that would be the case, though not 100%. Like not every zone is done exactly the same way, but they tend to try to do that. Okay. I would encourage you, if you have any other questions, to go ahead and put them in now. Okay, Pam, do you have any concluding remarks before we end the meeting?
No, thank you very much for attending. And as always, please watch for any kind of updates on my Facebook page, on the website, on my page on the website. And, you know, I want to thank our county partners and our staff and our construction and architecture partners for moving fast and trying to get everything in place for the openings of these schools and all of our other schools, including our lights, our sidewalks, our roadways, because if they don't happen, it makes it really hard to get to the school, even if it's built on time. So thank you very much for the partnerships and making sure that we have it smooth sailing, or as smooth as possible over this next year to get the school open.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody, and watch out for an email tomorrow with a link to the video.